Hello, my name's Gareth and welcome to Fat Pigeon Audio Reviews, where today we're back at Audio Lounge Leicester in the showroom to have a quick look at the Audiolab 9000A integrated amplifier. So the Audiolab 9000A amplifier. I've been playing around with this for the last few hours this morning. I actually had a listen to it last week, and I sort of fell in love with it, and that's why I wanted to get on the channel, because I've not really reviewed anything Audiolab in the past, and this is my first sort of step into the Audiolab world, and I was so pleasantly surprised by this amplifier. 100 watts a channel across 8 ohms, 160 watts a channel across the 4 ohms. It's got Bluetooth, aptX, HD, AAC. It does FLAC files, WAV files, all that sort of stuff. It sort of supports all the known, formats out there. Now, I've been playing music through the Bluesound node, and the maximum resolution I've got from it through the node was 192 kilobits on certain tracks through Qbuzz. This is just a quick look video. I just wanted to get out there the sound quality of this and what sort of things you should expect from it. It has 4 digital inputs across the back of the machine. It has 2 coaxial inputs, 2 optical inputs. It has 3 analog inputs. It's got a phono stage built in. It's got Bluetooth. When you put it through Bluetooth, it brings all the information on the screen. I couldn't get any album artwork to come up on the screen via the Bluetooth, but apparently someone said you could. I couldn't get it to do it. I've got a little video, a snippet of me trying to get the information with on the screen. Talking of the screen, it's got little VU meters, it's got graphic equalizers. You can just have the Audiolab badge displayed there all the time. Or it can display what kilobits are going through the system via the node or within the machine itself. So through the coaxial and the digital, the optical inputs, you can get 24-bit 192 kilohertz, which is more than enough quality and resolution for beautiful pinpoint accuracy within imaging and things like that. But we'll get back to the sound quality in a few moments. The amplifier itself is a very simple design. It's got the screen on the left-hand side, then it's got, I think, your input selector via a dial, then it's got a mode selector via a dial, then it's got your volume control. And within the 2 of those, a 6.25mm headphone jack. So if you're using the coaxial inputs, for instance, your digital inputs, your 2 coaxial inputs, that's when your DAC set can actually set it to 24-bit to 192 kilohertz. Same with your optical, 24-bit, 92 kilohertz. For the PC USB connection in the back, so it's straight from your PC into the amplifier, you can get from 44.1 up to 768 kilobits a second of information. Now that's a big bump up. So with your normal digital input coaxial optical, you're going to be getting your 192, 24-bit 192. But then, like I say, you use your PC, it jumps right up to 768 kilobits a second, which is a phenomenal sort of resolution through this. I have not tried that yet. I will hopefully try that in the future. The reason I'm doing this quick video, this quick look video, is just to get you a look around it. So you can see the back of it, so you can see the front of it, the layout of it. But just for now, I'm gauging the sound quality from the Bluesound node through the amplifier, through a pair of speakers. Now, the speakers, I've gone through several different kinds of speakers here within the shop. And I've sort of fell on the Diptyqs. The Diptyq DP77s, I've actually got them on today. And I will be doing a review on those sometime this week and sometime in the future on the Diptyq speakers themselves. But when you put this Audiolab 9000 amplifier through a set of speakers, now I've settled on the Diptyqs just because they sort of show off this amplifier. They're a very transparent speaker, which allows me to then sort of get into the amplifier, really see the nitty-gritty of what this amp can do. And I put the first track on. I always use Soft Landing Track by Yuri Honing, I think it is, Trio. And it just blew me away. This amplifier has a way of opening up the sound stage and giving you more of that music that you want to come out of the speakers. It's adding width, but it doesn't feel like it's just adding to the sides. It just does it. And it just fills your room with the sound that's coming through. Whatever track you're playing, it will give you this sound stage. The details within the high end were astonishing. The resonances, the aftertones, anything within the mid-range. Now, when the mid-range, it steps the mid-range forward. So if you've got a track where there's a lady singing, a beautiful lady singing a bit of jazz on a stage, and you can sort of close your eyes and you can picture it, you can tell that she's slightly more forward, like a floating holographic head looking down and singing just at you intimately. And you're sort of drawn in. The way that this amp pushes these vocals up and towards you. But then you've still, like I say, got the sound stage. It's producing this width that I couldn't sort of get my head around. So the vocals are floating. She's on the stage and it's just this wonderful. But because it's sort of, the amplifier brings that vocalist forward, which then allows for more depth behind, especially with these dip-to-Q speakers. Now, they're an open baffle panel speaker, and that's why I sort of chose them for this test, because it just brings this Audiolab alive again. It just steps it up again. But because, like I said, the vocalist is more forward, the mid-range is forward, you get in the depth behind it. You can hear the drummer a step back more. Over here, you can get a little bit more depth from it. And that's the amplifier doing that, bringing them forward, allowing for this sort of ambience, the mood to be set because of depth and scale. So you've got your sound stage, you've got your detail, the way that this thing does cymbals, and you can hear on certain tracks, I swear I could hear the wind coming out of a saxophone and the breath and the leaking wind. You know, if someone's playing a trumpet, it's like you can hear that extra bit of air coming out the side. But again, I think that's a mixture of the amplifier and the speakers. But the way that the authority this amplifier has, it gives you the authority, forwardness, that I wasn't expecting. For a £2,000 amplifier, this is punching way above its weight for me. When you're sitting here, for instance, and you're listening, the imaging, again, it's depending on speakers, but with this one, with the Audiolab 9000 amplifier, when I put it on, it does this sound stage. It does the forwardness with every single speaker you put on it. It isn't a variation really within the speaker itself. We've put about 4 or 5 different sets of speakers on and through this, just to see if it's giving you that same impactfulness and the forwardness of the mid-range and the vocals. Guitar strings on this have beautiful body. It's sort of doing something to the lower end bass, and it's controlling it, but it's not like throttle control. It's not like really restricting that control of the bass. It's just rounding it up, like a gentle cuddle. Just, that's it. Yeah. Let's just control it. Calm yourself down. It's not throttling it, and it's not really squeezing the life out of the bass. It's just doing something lovely and wonderful to that bass, where it just calms it down and it just controls it naturally. And through these speakers, through all the speakers we tried, it's across the board. I don't understand how it's sort of changing the speaker. You can listen to a speaker on a RCAM amplifier. We've tried it on Technics amplifiers, things like that. And if they're good amplifiers, they're doing their job. But this really does remind me of the Lima. We had a Lima Takana 2 anniversary in, and it's a very similar sound, similar sound signature with that upfrontness. And when you're listening to the music, I'm feeling this, the vocals like sort of whirl upwards, and you can tell that they're there, and you can hear the instruments are like floating around you. Again, it does not hurt with these dip-to-Q speakers, and I will come back to those and do a review on those. But this Audiolab 9000, I ran it through the Golden Ear BRXs that we've got here as well. I ran it through the floor standards at the back there, the 5-degree floor standards there from Horns. We've put them through pretty much everything. And it's just a winner. The highs, the detail within cymbals and the highs. It has resonance to it. It has a refinedness, a rolled off, smooth top end to the amplifier. It doesn't add anything. It sort of takes away any noise within the system itself, and that allows this clarity and cleanness to come through. And it shines through at the top and within the mids. But you've got the body on strings within the mids, and it's got the throatiness, like I've said before, to trumpets and wind instruments. and it's controlling that lower end bass. But the cymbals and the hi-hats are wide and airy, but with the detail and the refinement that your ear is very happy with. Very happy with. I listened to a track within, I listened to These Bones. It's an a cappella track that I use on a regular basis. And it's deep voices. And you really get the sense that they're sitting in front of you. Because of the soundstage that it's creating and that lower end sort of texture, and it's being controlled so nicely. It's so realistic. You need to hear one. If you've got a local dealer or you're local to us, come down to Audiolab Leicester and have a listen to this amp. Bring your own speakers, because you're so used to those speakers. I want you to see what these can do to the speakers that you know and love, and what this amplifier will do and change within that speaker itself. Again, with that soundstage. The cymbals and things like that on the higher end detail and violin highs were so smooth. A lot of violin highs for me, you can think, oh, they can get a little bit too much. It just sands down that little rough edges that can be peaking and like, ooh, this amp just gets rid of it. And every single high, I put screechy tracks through it, whatever I could try and find to throw a loop at this machine. Try and make it step to the right, step to the left, just step out. But I couldn't find a track that did it. It just sort of did well with every single track. And it changed every single track, every single set of speakers for the better. And I did not expect it at a £2,000 price point. This is the sort of stuff that you're looking at £5,000, £6,000, £7,000 amplification will do. Now, when it came to the mids and the vocals, it has this signature of warmth to that mid-range, a purity, a richness to vocals that I thought was only capable from a valve amplifier. Now, it's not as warm as a valve amp. It's never going to be. But it has that signature. It has that tonal sort of similarities that a valve amp has. And this Audiolab 9000 is giving you warmth from an integrated amplifier that I did not expect. It was mesmerizing on some of the tracks I was playing. With, again, I've always been a fan of strings and things like that, guitars, acoustic guitar. When you put an acoustic live guitar through this system, through the 9000 amplifier, the warmth and realism you're getting from the strings is just, you sort of melt a little bit. And you're sitting in your seat and you're listening, and I'm always listening for faults and whatever else. Sometimes I feel like I'm not actually listening to the music anymore. But you sit, I'm listening thinking, oh, what's the difference between that? What's the difference? We'll just try this amp, we'll just try that amp. But I just got drawn in, and I just sort of stopped, and I just sort of started to relax. And I just listened to the purity of the guitar and the width and the detail. And this amplifier has absolutely shook me to my core. I know it might be a bit OTT. It might sound ridiculous. But as far as amplifiers can go, I think this is the most excited you can get about listening to an amplifier. Because I cannot recommend this enough. Everything we threw at it, every track we threw at it, every speaker we put on it, just made that speaker that little bit better from this amplifier. We've tried different cabling with it, and it just worked with everything. Everything just kept getting better and stepping up, and it didn't falter once. I've just plugged a Blue Sound node into it. I've got the high-res music from Cobuzz, and I wanted to have a listen through a series of different speakers. And I've done that. And I just wanted to get the video out there so you guys know that this 9000 is out there. And at £2,000, it's an absolute steal. You'll feel like you've robbed it from the shop because of how good it is. You'll want to go back and give them more money because it's worth so much more. It's just a phenomenally good amplifier. And I always put stuff on the channel that I get excited about. That's why a few weeks can go by and I've not put anything on, because I'm not passionate about it. They're good, but I don't think they make the cut for the channel. But this is my favorite amplifier so far that I've had through the channel and that I've listened to within the shop. There's more expensive amps here. At price to performance, the Audiolab 9000 is now the one to beat for me. So let me calm down. I don't know if you can tell, I've had a bit of a cold again. I was ill a few months ago now. I had another flu bug. But it's just, again, I can stop my rant. It was just a quick look video. My first look video, should I say. It's a first look video. But thank you so much for watching. I will be doing more and more videos, hopefully, in the future, depending on my sort of timetable and what, how busy I am. But I want to get the diptychs on. I want to get the horns on. I've got there's some beautiful horns there. And these 5 degree speakers are absolutely wonderful as well. I'll get as much content on as I can. I get busy with things like that, but we're coming up to Christmas and I'll hopefully have a little bit more time on my hands. So I'll be getting some more videos out there. Thank you so much for watching my little look into the Audiolab 9000A. Again, go and have a listen to one. If you don't believe me, or if you want the same sort of feeling I've got, take your speakers with you, have a listen to one in a shop, and just transform the speakers that you know and love and that you've been listening to for a long time. It's always worth taking them to a hi-fi shop and putting them through that, because you know what to expect from those speakers. And then when it does step it up and it adds you this sort of forward facing, allows more depth, and then the soundstage, go and have a listen. Thank you so much for watching the video, and fingers crossed, hopefully, I will see you in the next one.